Today, I want to talk about sales. Sales, sales, sales. This is a word that, for many people, it has, a bad reputation. A lot of people don't like being sold to. A lot of people don't like feeling salesy. And this is a word that I think has been redefined and has to be redefined, especially if you are um, someone entering into business, someone entering into entrepreneurship. And especially if you're a Christian, there's something about the word sales, right? There's this thing within Christianity where sales is seen as icky, charging is seen as unholy, and the most holy thing is to do things for free, um, and to basically use the language of, oh, the Lord will compensate me. While that is true in some respect, there is also a lot of scripture that tells us that sales is a good thing. Sales actually is a godly thing. And I'm gonna find this exact text for you right now, but I really just want to share this point, and then I'll kind of unpack it a little bit. But um, sales is serving. Sales is serving, and maybe you're hearing this and you're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? um this is, it's almost like a paradox. How could that even be possible? But the truth is, sales is serving. I want to look at one Bible text. Proverbs 11 verse 26 says, the people curse him who holds back grain, but a blessing is on the head of him who sells it. So somebody has something of value, somebody has a possession, this thing in possession, whether it's something physical, whether it's something like wisdom or expertise or anything, right? You fill in the blank, grain. Um, People curse the one who holds back whatever gift they have to offer to the world that the world needs, but blesses the one who sells it. Okay. What does this mean? What I'm not saying is that we should go around charging for for the gospel or for salvation, right? That's completely contradictory with what scripture says. And there's also many scriptures that say that leaders are worth their wages, right? Preachers, teachers are worth their wages. Um, there's actually First Timothy 5:17 says, here in the New Living Translation, elders who do their work well should be and paid well, especially work hard at both preaching and teaching. Okay, so there's so many texts. This is nuance. This is not a real simple type of thing that people with a poverty gospel mindset, the way that they try to minimize it and dismiss it, is to say no, business sales, throw it out, it's from the devil, and then everything for free, everything that's donation based, this is from God. So that's the thing, right? You look at people like Paul who preached the gospel full time. He didn't charge for the preaching of the gospel, though in his letter to Timothy that I just read, he actually says that elders and spiritual leaders are should be paid well, right? Should be taken care of spiritually, just like the priests, or should be taken care of physically, just like the priests in the Old Testament who would live off of, the tithe that was given to the church, um, given to God or given to the temple. But this, again, this principle of, sales and money and all this being evil, like the text says that money is the root, or the love of money is the root of all evil, not that money is the root of all evil. Very important distinction, that it is the love of money, meaning that, money takes the place of God in terms of, doing the will of money rather than doing the will of God, right? But at the same time, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, there's so many texts that talk about righteous people having an inheritance to pass down to their children's children, right? A good person. Um, all of these texts that talk about how wisdom and wealth belong to the righteous, right? And all of this talk about money being evil, stay away from money, is something that has kept a lot of Christians in particular. And I didn't even expect to go to this to focus more on the Christian aspect, but we're here. Um, it keeps a lot of Christian people stuck and struggling unnecessarily and actually unable to give out of abundance and generosity to their church, to the mission of God, because they struggle financially, whether it's struggling with debt, whether it's low paying jobs, whether it's not, pursuing high level skills and high value skills that you can get paid for well, um, for doing them and using them. All of this to say that the kingdom of God, even Jesus, his ministry was funded fully when he was, going around preaching by people who had wealth and had money, who were rich. Paul supplied his own wealth because he didn't want to burden people and tell people, "Hey, I need you to donate to my ministry so I can focus on preaching full time." Even though some people did, he actually worked as a tent maker. He was an entrepreneur. He offered his services so that um, he offered his services for pay so that he would have enough money so that he could go and do the thing that he was called to do, to preach the gospel. All this to say that sales is important, whether you like it or not. Every job that you have, every company that you've ever worked for is involved in sales of some kind. So, what is the word sales? Sales essentially is making an offer to someone or someone's that is of more value to that person than the money that they have in their hand. Okay. So that is sales. Sales is saying, hey, this is an opportunity. If you want to take it, you can take it. Right. And if the person sees the thing, the product, or whatever it is that they're purchasing, uh, they will say, you know what, that is worth more than the money in my hand. Here's my money. Give me the service or give me the product. Sales is everywhere. Again, every company, every chair that you sit on, every bed that you lay down on at night, every piece of food that you eat, everything in this world is circulated through sales. And maybe you don't think about it that way because it's subconscious. You're just like, I need this, I need to buy it. Somebody intentionally actually created the process and the infrastructure to get that product to you, whether it's Amazon, whether it's the grocery store. They are there serving you. And many times, because it's just essential things that you need, you don't even think about the fact that you're being sold, right? Even the fact that you drive on the highway on a long, road trip, and you see a McDonald's or a Burger King or whatever restaurant you like, and you just see that logo, you're being sold. You're thinking about the associations of the food, of your stomach being satisfied, of you enjoying, you know, uh, a good meal or a good drink or whatever it is, and you are sold just by the logo, and you decide to get off the highway, make a pit stop, grab some food, continue on your way. So all of this to say that sales is a part of life. Sales, whether you know it or not, is serving you with the things that you need, the clothes on your back, the food that you eat, the services that you invest into, Netflix or education, whatever it is, right? These things are meant to serve you. And in exchange for that service, you are providing your money, right? That is the trading system that we are a part of. So, when it comes to your own coaching business, your own consulting business, your online business, you need to know that what you're doing when you sell is you are offering a service that will make someone's life better. And when you move from that place, creating your product, creating your coaching offer, whatever it is, from that place, you can show up confidently and with a pure heart and not a heart that's condemning you, knowing that you are selling something that is going to help somebody change their life. And if you are a coach or a consultant, you are putting in your time, your effort, your energy, your expertise into coaching, into modules, into maintaining a community, into engaging, into answering questions. And you don't get any of that back. You don't get that time back. You don't get that energy back. Once it goes out, it's gone. Okay. So, because of that, that is why you receive in exchange for your time, effort, energy, wisdom, expertise that you've invested into, you are receiving funds in in response to that, and that allows you to continue living, continue eating, continue doing whatever you need to do, continue investing into yourself, into your own coach, into your own mentor, so that you can continue to grow and continue to become more wise and more effective in your coaching, so that you have something better to offer your clients. Do y'all see this? Like, this is a flow. This is a almost like a circle of life, like oxygen and carbon dioxide in our exchange with breathing with trees and plants. This is sales. This is a good thing. What people don't like, and this is where this word becomes dirty, sales, is when you feel forced, manipulated, coerced, pressured, or you're uncomfortable doing, investing into a certain thing and it's out of alignment. Okay. When it's out of alignment, it just doesn't even make sense. Why are you even calling me? Why are you even approaching me? Like, I don't need this product. I don't want this product. I don't want this thing. But if it is something that you need, if it is something that you actually want, but you're still thinking about it, you're hesitant, look at that person coming to you and offering their service and telling you about it and encouraging you to take the leap to invest. Look at that as service, because if it is something you want and something you need, maybe this is actually what you need to get to the next level, to actually go forward in the thing that you do want to do, but either you lack the courage, you lack the confidence, you are complacent, so you feel comfortable where you are, right? Like, look at these opportunities that come to you when it's something that you want or something that you need. Look at it as service. The person is putting energy, time, effort into speaking with you to explore the possibility of you investing into yourself with this product, with the service, whatever it is. When you start to look at sales this way, when you start to look at people who approach you, people who talk to you, people who try to sell to you, when you look at it as a service that they're making to you to help you to possibly get the thing that you want or need, you will begin to attract people who also think the same way. But if you hate having conversations where somebody is potentially trying to invite you to accept an offer that you actually want or need and it's aligned, right? But you're still hesitant, you just don't know, you're overthinking. Like, when you start to see that as a gift, when you start to do that for others, they will also receive it in a similar way. But one of the main reasons why people resist you and people, you know, hate when you have these conversations with them is because you are the same way and you attract what you are. The type of people that you attract are the people that are thinking just like you, very similar to you, because you change. The people that you attract will change based off of who you are as a person. So if you're struggling with sales calls, if you're struggling with, these types of conversations, many times it's because you yourself struggle with people approaching you and trying to sell you. Okay. It's a major mindset shift. It's a major change to look at sales as like, man, this person's just trying to take advantage of me and they just want my money, versus, hey, this person has something valuable to offer that I actually want or need, and I'm going to hear them out and I'm going to seriously consider moving forward because, yeah, this is a good thing, right? Money itself is only as valuable as the thing that it can get you, right? If you just have a whole bunch of money sitting around and you never use it, you never do anything with it, it doesn't really have value in the sense of what it adds to your life. But when you are using it to bless others or to invest into yourself for your own growth and your own knowledge and wisdom, or if you're investing into, buying food or buying clothes, like, that's when it has worth and value because you are receiving something that actually serves you and helps you, right? And of course, having more money gives you more leverage so that you have more options and you don't need to take jobs that you hate. You don't need to do things that you don't want to do for money because, it gives you freedom in that sense, right? And this is something that a lot of people don't really think about, that actually poor people, people who have less money, are more enslaved to money than rich people. Especially within the Christian world, we say, man, that person's rich, like they're enslaved to money. Money's an idol. But if you think about it, people who are poor are dictated, their decisions are dictated, s- sometimes even more by money, and they have to work long hours and jobs that they hate, or do things that they don't want to do for the rest of their life, working a 9 to 5 till they're dead, away from their family because they don't have money. So they are enslaved to it in the sense that they have to do what money tells them to do, what they have to do in order to get money because they don't have it. Versus someone who, with wisdom, finds out, how can I create wealth? How can I uh, use, my skills, my knowledge, my wisdom, my expertise to get out of the time for money trap? Because as long as you are trading time for money or working hourly, you have to keep putting in hours in order to get money, and your hours are going to run out eventually. But with businesses that scale, when you have a service like, let's say, a group coaching program, you can do 1 hour or 2 hours per week and charge everyone the same amount to be a part of that community. And it doesn't matter if there's one or five or 100 or 1,000 people in that group, you're still going to do 1 to 2 hours per week. That allows you to escape the time for money trap. So you're doing 1 to 2 hours per week still, but you're increasing the income without putting in more time. So this is the same thing with sales, right? A lot of people have remote sales jobs nowadays, right? Either they sell high ticket coaching or life insurance or real estate or different things like that. And they're not being paid hourly, but they're being paid based on their skill. And there are people that sell houses and they'll get a commission when they sell a house as a realtor, and they're going to get a fat commission check because of the skill that they have, right? And maybe it doesn't look fair initially because the people that are working hourly are getting their $20 or $30 an hour consistently, but that's going to stay like that for the rest of their lives, or it might increase slightly. But people that are, increasing in sales skills or growing, or growing a business or scaling a business, there's no cap. You can infinitely go up as long as you are sharpening your skills, becoming better, and working with higher value customers or people that are willing to pay more. And you just get better and better at doing that thing. So it becomes easier and it comes to you quicker over time. So, yeah, this is, I didn't even expect to go here, to be honest, but this is cool. I think this is really important to talk about. But sales is serving. Sales is serving. And many times, when we do not package our expertise, our wisdom, our knowledge as coaches, as consultants, and offer that to people, we are keeping our gift from the world. We are keeping what God has given us, what, our willingness to learn has provided us with, and we are hoarding it like grain, and there will be a curse upon us, but there's a blessing on us if we sell it and allow other people to have access to it. Okay. So sales is a good thing. But yes, I understand that we as human beings don't like being dragged around emotionally and manipulated and coerced and pressured into something we don't want. And that's why we get mad when we get people cold calling us, or we get people knocking on our doors, or whatever it is. And it's like, dude, I don't want this. Get out of my face. When it's not when it's unsolicited, when it's not something that interests you, it just feels wrong. And unfortunately, that happens often, right? But what if we could create, or we could operate in such a way that sales is presented as opportunities, as offers, as invitations, rather than as a forceful, um, you know, getting into people's face and trying to coerce them or manipulate them into doing what we want them to do, right? So it has to be of value to them. It has to be something that they want. It has to be something that they need. Um, and that is when it will be received well and seen as an opportunity and seen as a gift. And many times the question is how can you build the desire in the people that you're talking to want the thing that you have to offer? And that's where we get into nurturing. That's where we get into sales in its truest form and its purest form is how do we paint the picture, invite people into the reality, into the perception of, man, this is something that I want. This is something that's a great opportunity. Even though they may not see it initially, now they see it and now it makes sense. And now they want to move forward because it does align with what they want. They just didn't know that it was something that they wanted. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? I hope so. But yeah, sales equals serving. Sales can be a really, really great way to help others. And again, it's you should be provided for. You should be paid well for your teaching, for your leadership, even if it's not church work, even if it's something like fitness coaching or mental health coaching. It's the same thing as counseling, right? But with high ticket coaching, we're talking about a transformation that you're helping somebody reach rather than just like, hey, here's my time for money and we'll just sit down and talk about whatever. So there's a very specific goal in mind. It's something that the client wants, and it's something that you are able to help them reach for and to increase their possibility and likelihood to achieve. And that is when it is a valuable exchange that people will gladly pay for, right? I've actually made a video on this where I had a client who wanted to pay me and did pay me $10,000 to work with me one on one. And for them, they saw working with me, um, for a limited amount of time, one on one for $10,000. They saw that as a great deal. Why? Because they have already experienced, they've already seen the value, the knowledge, the wisdom, the expertise that I can provide in the area that they themselves want to grow. And I can help them accelerate a lot faster to get to their goals for their business than if they were to do trial and error on their own. So, what they're paying for is accelerated time, right? To collapse time frames so that they can get to their goal faster for accountability, um, and also inner accountability, just knowing that they've paid that amount. It's like, man, like I know that um I'm gonna do this because of the amount that I just paid, right? Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. If you pay a large amount for something, you're gonna value that thing because you've invested treasure into that. So now your heart is in that thing as well. Um, and yeah, so like for that same reason, that $10,000 package was a more limited time slash term, but the package that I offer for one on one actually for a full year is $35,000 to work with me. And some people hear that and they're like, "What? That's crazy. How could you do that?" Right? But when you actually immerse yourself in the things that I'm saying and you actually it clicks for you and it makes sense based on where you are and what I'm teaching, that it makes sense, it's aligned with you, and we have a conversation and it makes sense and it's aligned, it's a no-brainer, right? But for some people that it's not aligned and they're not entrepreneurs, they're not online coaches, this makes zero sense for them. It's like, dude, that's crazy. I would never do that, right? The same way that I would never invest 100,000 plus dollars in medical school because it makes no sense for me. I don't want to do that, right? That sounds like a scam to me. But for other people, they hear that and they're like, that's great. I mean, the payoff and this, and I love doing working with patients and all. So it's like you have to assess, right? It's like, where are you? What do you need, or not even what do you need, but what do you want? Like, what is the time frame that you have that you're giving yourself to reach your goals? Like, are you giving yourself like 60 years, or are you trying to get there within the next year or 2 years because you want to spend the rest of your life enjoying the fruits and the benefits of the result that you get from working with a coach or working with a mentor who's already achieved the thing that you want to achieve? All that to say that sales and you know selling online is service when it is positioned in the right way and when it makes sense for both parties. All I'm going to